Hi there, my name is QB, and welcome back to another part of this series where we go over the Evilise, the lore about Evilise for Steal the Skies. Last time we talked about magic, cities, and the not say specifically types of cities, but magic, magicite, yachts, types of cities, and hunting guilds. So today, let's talk about each different country because there are 11, I believe it's set that there are 11 of these that signed the Rekoresh Safety Accords, which we talked about 2 videos ago. So, first off, let us do this into sections. This section is going to be the part that you visit in Final Fantasy XII, and more so. So, starting off, we have the Arcadian Empire. This was the big evil empire in Final Fantasy XII that started out in Archades and kind of branched out throughout the rest of the continent and tried going down into the Galtean Peninsula, and that's the main conflict of that game. It is ran by a combination of the Imperial family and a Senate that reaches from all of their territories. Up until recently, Archades has tried to continue to, about 50 years ago, has tried to reclaim sections of the Galtean Alliance that they thought nobody would really miss too much. So, like, Narbudis and Nalbina. But that will segue us beautifully into the Galtean Alliance, which is comprised of Nalbina, Narbudis, Yensa, and Dalmasca. The capital of the Galtean Alliance, Dalmasca, is Rabanastre, just like in Final Fantasy XII. About 50 years ago, after having a coalition with Yensa, with some of the Uratan and the Yensa Sansi, Rabanastre came to the aid of Nalbina and the Backnabi and the Necrohall of Narbudis. I said this isn't going to be edited, so all of these tongue twists, all these mistakes in my words are going to be left in. So, came to the aid of those 2 city-states, and this entire region here became the new Galtean Alliance. Moving down a little bit, we have Kerwon, which is a continent that we visited just the north section of in Final Fantasy XII. Just a little bit of that. But further down south, this section right here by K. Minsbud was is under the control and territory of the Arcadian Empire. This section over here with Nightfield and kind of Great Thagthorn are under the control of the Rosarian Empire. This whole triangle here is a giant yacht. Well, I guess it would be like this whole diamond section. Everything from like Ariut to Great Thagthorn, down here to the sea, to the Sand Sea, reaches over here, up to Mount Baromeses, and then back. So this giant section right here is giant yacht. Back when manufactured nethicite and orosite were used to travel over yachts, these sections, people would love to visit them because these cities, Stone Sop and Sand Tomb, were places people would love to visit because they were definitely more one of a kind with how magically infused they are deep within the yacht. But given that yachts are now a problem, that people can't just travel over willy-nilly, people have to either go through the mountains or go through the Sand Sea to try and get to these places, which is not fun. Either of those options are not great options. So these places are a little more isolated, and they're more fine with that. And last but not least of this entire section of the world over here, well, before we get into that, let's talk about up here for other non-declared regions with a section of the alliance is up here. There is several countries that are up here. Only 2 of them have anything to do with the hunting guild, and none of them signed the safety accords. So this whole section here, they're not marked because they're smaller, and the purpose of having all these different named countries is that they work together with the safety accords. People up here, what's left of Rekoresh, and the people within Deep Kerwon did not sign these accords because they were damaging to them, not being able to have airships come to them. So, some people, not a fan of the safety accords. A lot of people are fine with them because between some of the countries are other modes of transportation. And they're like, yeah, I mean, we can sacrifice having less airship between these 2 countries. It's fine. But moving on, last place for this specific video is the sky continents of Pervama. It's difficult to know where the name Pervama actually comes from, but it is basically the sky continent that Bujerba is on from Final Fantasy XII. You'll see it over there. It's also part of the sky, or the entire sky continent that the collection of islands in Final Fantasy XII Revenant Rings are a part of, but they crashed into the sea after the destruction of the Mother Aetherites. But this is the sky continent of Pervama, where all of these city-states work together, but yeah, you'll notice that there are a lot of sections of here that look like they're just hollowed out, just carved out. That's because sky continents are the only place where you can find sky stones. The Magicite, or they're the most prevalent place to find sky stones. You can find them in other places, but it's the difference between randomly digging in the ground versus looking up in the sky and seeing that there are continents flying and being like, obviously they have a lot of sky stones in them. So a lot of these places have been strip mined. Some places have fallen into the sea, and some places are lower than others. So Bujerba is probably the lowest sitting island of this entire archipelago of sky islands. And they stopped mining in Bujerba to make sure that it stayed in the sky, because they basically have just enough to stay up there. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. We went over Arcadian Empire, the Galtean Alliance, Kerwon, and Pervama with Bujerba, and all of these sections in between that did not agree to the safety accords and are either alright with being isolated from everybody else or less enthused. So, next time we'll be going into the Rosarian Empire, Riven Crag, and the Holy Eudoran Empire. So yeah, bye.